This podcast is brought to you by Optimum Design Associates. Check us out at www.optimumdesign.com. You're listening to Outsourcing Things You Should Know. Information, opinion, and some occasional attitude about electronics outsourcing.
Hello and welcome to Outsourcing Things You Should Know. I'm Everett Frank.
And I'm Sherry Hubbard.
And we have Rob running things from the control room.
Thank you, Rob.
Rob's
Can't
the
do it
man.
without you.
Can't do it without him. So, Sherry, we often get asked what documents are required to quote a PCB assembly job.
Funny, isn't that? You'd
And
think that would kind of be common knowledge.
Yeah. But you know what? Tons of people are doing it, are new to it, or doing it for the first couple times. Sure. Or, you know what else I think? I think that you probably see different contract manufacturers asking for different things. And so people may be saying, what is it you in particular need to know?
That's right. That's right.
But how would you answer that question, Sherry? You're the expert.
So I'm going to tell you that 90% of the time there's four necessary documents. Four things that are very important.
Four things.
That would include your bare board print, your assembly.
Okay, what's bare board mean?
Bare board, your fabrication drawing for the board itself, the fab.
Got it.
Nothing else. And then there's the assembly print. Again, it's just for the assembly. It tells you where and what you're going to put, or where you're going to put what on the board. Then you have a bill of materials. Your bill of materials is really a very important document. To me, that is your controlling document, and I'll give you a little bit more information about that further down here.
All right.
And then you have an approved vendor list, or otherwise known as an AVL.
AVL.
That's right.
All right. So you're going to describe these in a little bit more detail for us.
Yes, I will. We'll start with the bare board print, and you know there's lots of things that are included in the bare board print. You know, all the obvious. You know, your dimensions, your thickness, all that stuff.
Now, is this what people mean when they say fab drawing? You hear people say that.
This is exactly what they
say.
And funny because the terminology can be confusing too. You know, when you're talking to somebody on the phone, they don't know that a fab might be a bare board, and so on. There's so many different words for the same same things in this industry.
PWB, right?
PWB.
The printed wiring board.
There you go. Yeah.
Why do we need so many words?
But I'm thinking the most important thing, other than the requirements of the fab, how to manufacture it on the bare board print, is the part number and revision, right? And I'll also tell you why this is so important.
Okay, now, do you mean the part number of the components?
I mean the part number of the drawing itself or the actual fab, which should also be listed on your bill of materials. But we'll get to that when we get to the bill of materials.
Now, is this the one like we hear people talking about different layers might be marked differently with the different part number or different rev, or the mask might be different? Is this the level where that comes into play?
Absolutely. Your bill of materials is a controlling document. And sometimes they will even have a part number for artwork.
Yeah.
For the board, to manufacture the board, or a part number for a schematic, right? That also is included in the board manufacturing. There's for artwork, everything you could think of, they can assign a number to, and that would all report up to your bill of materials.
Yeah. Now, if we see we have these different layers, right, that come out in the files for the PCB, and sometimes we see situations, right, where the layers have different revs attached to the layers themselves. Is that right?
That's correct.
And we kick that back, right?
Yes.
Or do we just note it?
Well, if you don't have a controlling document that tells you that this layer is in fact this rev, and so on, then how would you know without questioning it?
You wouldn't know, Rob.
Yeah.
Now, Rob, you are a PCB certified layout guy, right?
That I am.
Now, isn't this right? Don't we see on different layers, isn't it easy to make a mistake to get the wrong part number, the right rev, or the wrong rev on a different layer or on the solder mask, et cetera?
Oh, absolutely. Like during stack up, it's easy to make a little mistake like that, and if somebody doesn't catch it, then you're left with different layers and the different boards, and then you have a manufacturability problem.
And then you got a problem. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
That would be called a remake.
A remake. Yeah. There's problems. Don't do that.
So let's see. Again, I want to stress that the part number and revision control on your documents is very important.
It's a big deal.
Yep.
Now, is this, if I want to send you my Bearboard thing, is this what people mean when they say a Gerber file?
Yes, yes. Everything within that file is what you need to build that actual bare board.
And it's in the Gerber?
Yes, it is.
Everything's in the Gerber.
Yes, it is. You can extract your bare board print. You can extract, what else can you extract, Rob? All kinds of stuff.
You've got your assembly layers in the outline, or in the Gerber file. They'll have the full, like, dimensions of the board, thickness, all
Your
of that.
silk screen.
Like, everything that we mentioned, the silk screen, assembly layers,
Yep.
all that good stuff.
Your
The
stack
magical
ups.
Gerber file.
Yep.
Okay, so what's an ODB++ then? What's that? Isn't that part of the same thing? If I wanted to, isn't another way to communicate my Bearboard or PCB drawing an ODB++ file?
Absolutely.
So what's that? How's that differ from a Gerber?
An ODB++ file is a Mentor's version of the Gerber, effectively, and it combines a lot more of the controlling data, like the BOM and all of the component listing, as well as the physical dimensions of the board. And we actually have a great series put together by Randy Holt on the effectiveness of ODB++ that'll be linked in the description.
All right, that's like 5 or 6 videos, right, up on YouTube describing ODB++
That it is.
and how
It goes into a great
Oh,
amount of
that's right.
detail.
And that file format is very, very manufacturing friendly for downloads.
Our fab houses like that, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
fab houses like it. We like it here.
We like it.
Yes, we like it here on the assembly side,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. The next thing would be an assembly print. So you need to know where you're going to put the components
So
on
this
that
is
bill
the
of material.
second thing, right? The first thing was the Bearboard print. Now
Right.
we're talking about the second thing, the assembly print.
The second item, yes.
Okay.
An assembly drawing. So this assembly drawing is going to have, of course, again, because I'm gonna pound this through every part of this podcast today. Lost my train of thought there. That again, these documents need to be controlled.
So the big issue you're coming to is part number and rev.
Yes, part number and rev.
I think Sherry is into that.
So what is shown on the assembly print, like I said, which side of the board is that component going to be on? What reference designator, the actual location that it's going to be placed on the board, and how many, where. There's also going to show polarization of the part to show you exactly how to position it on the board. A lot of times you don't need that because the footprint, obviously, on the board will. There's only going to be one way to put it in a component, but the majority of the components out there, you need to have some kind of an identifier.
Got it. And is this a Word file? How does this come over? Is this part of something? What kind of file format would we look for here?
Oh, they have all kinds of different file formats. Just about anything can be used.
All right.
For our third item, though, the bill of materials, Excel format is preferred.
Yes. Are you all hearing this? Excel.
Yes, Excel. It's a wonderful, wonderful tool when you're using a bill of material and you're trying to manipulate a bill of material, which often needs to be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, this is your controlling document. So all of the other documents, your bare board print, your Gerbers can even be included, assembly prints, artwork, should be, if you have a perfect bill of material, should all be listed on that bill of material along with the current revision of that document. Let's see, what else can I tell you about the bill of material? After you make sure that you have all the other correct documents by looking at the revisions, it should have an internal part number, or an IPN is what your customer part number would be. So,
Yeah, what if I don't have that?
we make one.
All
We
right.
can provide one for you if you do not have one. And then we're going to look at the description, right? The more information we can have about this part, the more we can know about it and do what we need to do. There's also the quantity per reference designators, as we had said before, so we know exactly which location it's used on the board and how many places.
Now, really, do we need the ref deses though? That's not required, right?
Yes, you really, really do. You really, really
Sounds like we're going to need to have a podcast on ref designators.
Well, they say, and that's another way of checking their work too. On the bill of material, it'll say that there's 34 parts, but maybe only 32 locations are called out.
Mm-hmm. So we got a discrepancy.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.
So it's a check, double check.
Yep. All right.
And for the people, easeability of assembly out on the floor. It's the quick reference to see they don't have to go to a document. It's right there on the board, the location of and the bill of material that they're working from. Let's see. Is there anything else you'd like to know about?
Yes, I'd like to know about thing number 4.
About thing number 4. Well, the
vendor
thing
list.
number 4 is your approved vendor list, or the AVL, as we said before. And that provides the information about the manufacturers of all of the components, or widgets, as people say in the industry, that are going to be used on that board.
So the AVL is going to tell us exactly which manufacturers are approved for that IPN, right?
Exactly.
So the AVL you could have many AVLs to one IPN number.
You
right?
absolutely can. In fact, it's a lovely thing when you have more than one source,
Yeah.
right? You never want to be stuck with one source. If we can't get that, then you're kind of out of luck,
That's
right?
the way to go.
So
Now, isn't it fair to say that most of what we see come in these days, the AVL information is embedded into what the customers call the BOM,
yes,
right? When they send it over in Excel.
yes, I've
most
even seen it
commonly.
on the assembly print before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
old school
right.
was kind of on the assembly print.
Yeah.
And a more updated way of doing it, obviously, is having a separate document. But yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's usually
Seen all
combined.
the above.
It's actually something separate, but it's usually combined in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, excellent.
And a lot of times you do have to ask for it if it is a second doc. They think, okay, you've got the BOM, you've got the assembly print, you got the fab print, that's all you need. Then you open up your BOM and there's no AVL.
No AVL information.
Right.
And then we're dead. We're
And
dead in the water.
that's usually the biggest holdup.
Yeah.
And
Oh, really?
and when you're
No
getting
AVL.
yes, and when you're usually in a time crunch, people want their quote
Mhm.
yesterday.
Chop, chop.
Yep, that's right. So the more information we can receive up front, the quicker and the better the process is going to go.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Sherry.
You're very
It's
welcome.
a great overview. So 4 things. The bare board print, otherwise known as the fab
Fab
print.
drawing.
The
Mhm.
fab drawing. The second thing is the assembly print.
That would be correct.
And the third thing is the bill of materials.
The controlling document
The big-
with all of the part numbers and revisions.
And if it doesn't have the AVL in it, then we would need the 4th document, an AVL.
That's correct.
All right.
Very
so that's
simple.
our podcast for today. Thank you very much, Sherry.
You're very welcome.
And I'm Everett Frank.
I'm Sherry Hubbard.
And Rob, doing it again.
So there you have it. That's our show. This podcast is brought to you by Optimum Design Associates. We're online at www.optimumdesign.com. You can also stay up to date with the latest episodes on Twitter at OptimumEMS. Our show is produced by Rob Frank with additional support from the Optimum Design Associates staff.